Hi everyone, Casey here with Wellbeing Connections, and I want to thank you for joining me today for this huddle summary. So let's jump in, and I'm going to share my screen as we get started. All right. So throughout this huddle or after this huddle, you can get in touch with Wellbeing Connections by visiting our website at wellbeingconnections.org. And from there, you can do all sorts of things like find more information on services, sign up for our free email list, or reach out directly to us with our phone or email. So, as we get started today, we are going to be discussing how to raise awareness and reflect on our interactions. We are constantly taking in information from the world around us. So, we are going to talk about how to raise awareness of the impact of that information where we can reflect by reflecting on our interactions. So, as we get started today, we're going to take a moment to pause and I'm going to invite you to visualize. So, I want you to reflect on a time when you felt that you had a warm encounter or an engagement with someone. This could be a family member, a friend, a coworker. Just what was that encounter like? What maybe do you remember? How did it make you feel? What actions might you recall when you're thinking about this encounter? Is it from yourself or the other person? How would you describe the communication, whether the verbal communication or even the nonverbal communication? As you're reflecting on that warm engagement in that encounter, that exchange, if you will, between someone in your life, oftentimes we want more of these, and we can reflect on what components made that a successful encounter, if you will, or created that feeling by using reflection. Now, not all of our encounters in the world are going to mirror that exact visualization, that reflection of a previous experience. But there are ways that we can interact with the world around us. So we are engaging in ways that nurture our well being, even if we can't control all of the things that are happening inside us, or excuse me, around us. So we are constantly taking in information from the world around us. All day, every day, we are interacting with our surroundings at all times. Now, some of these things we get to choose. For example, maybe we're choosing where we're shopping for groceries, we're choosing which way to take to work. And then there's other things, for example, we may not be choosing. For example, how much traffic is on the way we take to work. And it is important for us to kind of identify in these situations. There are going to be times that we can have influence or control in what is happening around us. And then there are other times that we are at the mercy, if you will, of the world around us. And as we begin to raise awareness of these interactions, we're able to notice the impact these interactions have on our overall well being. Now, each person has a unique threshold or tolerance of how these interactions impact us. For example, we might notice that some people can handle a little bit more than others, or maybe when I'm feeling tired or stressed, I can't handle quite as much. And we're going to talk about how to nurture our well being when we've kind of reached that too much, that maxed out phase, or how to protect when we've got that well-being at a place that we want to keep it at. Okay, so let's dig in a little bit deeper. And where this digging in deeper starts is raising our awareness of how we're interacting with the world around us and the impact that this has on each one of us as an individual. And this impact we're talking about is the impact internally. So, how is this impacting us physically? How is our body feeling throughout these interactions? Do we feel our shoulders relaxed? Do we feel tightness or tension in that upper back, neck, or jaw? How are we feeling emotionally? Do I feel on edge or maybe guarded? Or does this feel like a person or space or place where I can maybe let those walls down a little bit, be a bit vulnerable? Also, how does our energy feel? Do we feel like this is an interaction that revs our energy up, kind of brings some of that excitement and buzz, if you will? Or is this one an encounter or interaction that maybe brings a sense of calm, peace, if you will? As we're taking this time to raise awareness of how our interactions are impacting us individually and internally, it brings us a deeper connection to our inner self. Gaining this understanding of what is happening internally as we interact with the world around us. As we're starting to reflect and gain this information, we can then notice what is the impact that it had. Okay. For example, take a moment to reflect on your day thus far. Think about how the experiences you've had have impacted you up into this point. For example, has the news been on all day and now we're feeling a little bit heavy and maybe a little hopeless as we're closing out the day? Or did you have a positive encounter with a friend that you were able to grab coffee with while they were in town visiting family and friends? This left you maybe feeling connected. Were you able to have that moment to connect with your family because you left your phone in the other room and it wasn't a distraction? Okay. All of these situations and many more are going to be happening throughout our lives. And as we raise awareness of them, we're able to reflect upon the impact that they have on us. From there, we can ask ourselves a couple questions. One, is this something that I want more of in my life? Do I want to feel more calm and connected? Do I want to feel and create this relaxed body sensations? And what about this do I want more of? Do I want the calm? Do I want the connection, the hope, or the joy? When we can identify what it is that we want to carry on, we can look for more opportunities to practice those. And as we continue to gain that understanding, we're able to take that beyond that individual circumstance and look and see how this is impacting our well being as a whole. So we can take ownership in those exchanges of information. Now, this doesn't mean we're going to be avoiding all challenging conversations and interactions throughout our life or just put a barrier up that we will never hear negative information. But what it does mean is as we notice the impact, we can then take action to nurture our well being. And there's a couple different times throughout these interactions where we can. We can take time for some self care after a challenging situation. So being sure to hold a boundary for yourself to maybe take some time to decompress or process through a challenging situation with a trusted partner. Maybe we can take in or set a boundary for how much of this information we're going to invite into our lives. For example, maybe we can reduce the amount of information we're taking in via the news, the media, social media, our phones. We're more connected today than we ever have been, and this information is literally at our fingertips. Or maybe you can proactively plan some time to yourself before a challenging conversation or an upcoming encounter that's maybe giving you a little bit of that stress. We can sandwich our well being. So we've got a little bit in our tank to get us through that challenging situation. And then maybe on the back end, plan something to help us refuel or re bring up that well being. So I invite you to get curious. How would you rate your current ability to notice how these interactions impact you internally? Thinking about how these impact your physical, emotional well being. If you had to put a number to it, maybe pick 0 to 10. How would you rate that? And what maybe makes it a 4 versus a 7? I challenge you to maybe take some time and jot down some notes on what might you gain by raising awareness of the impact of these interactions. And how might that what you gain impact your overall well-being? And if you feel like you ranked yourself at that 8, 9, or 10 on you are aware of how these interactions impact your well-being, what do you want to keep doing? So that way you can continue to refine and prioritize your ability to reflect and raise awareness of the impact of those interactions. So, as you're kind of organizing your thoughts and looking maybe at some notes that you've taken just over the past few moments on raising awareness of the impact of your interactions, what might you like to practice or explore as you look to maybe grow this skill or continue on with a habit that you already have? Do you need any tools, support, or accountability? Thinking through, what does that success look like? How do you want to measure this? And as you're reflecting, I challenge you to get as specific as possible. So, can you make your action step or what you're looking to practice or explore a little bit more specific? As always, if you're looking for more information as you get started with your well-being journey, you can reach out to Wellbeing Connections at wellbeingconnections.org. You can shoot us an email at admin at wellbeingconnections.org. Give us a call at 605-370-8457. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. All the best.